episode.
We changed our cups, though. Two.
Okay. We changed our cups. We have the same cups. I only have one set of cups, y'all. So.
You live, what's the word?
Simply?
Yes.
Okay.
You live simple.
Yep.
You live simply.
Yep.
All right. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of Hey Girl, Who Are You? Ooh, did that carry a tune?
I don't know because I'm tone deaf.
Stop. All right. I mean.
So this is Tay Diggs, a.k.a. TT, a.k.a. Tay Taylor.
Double T.
And I'm just Alyse, so I don't know what to do with all that. Well, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about positionality.
Yes.
And so I use this
Wonderful
big,
word.
fancy word today.
Because why, Alyse?
Because I am a glutton for punishment. And I'm in a doctoral program.
Yeah.
Because education for life, man. I'm a nerd. I love going to school. Because I found it's something I'm actually good at.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't know that part.
Yep.
I mean, she is good at it, but
yep. I'm good at it, and I think that's why I stick with it, because we all want to be good at stuff in life. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So Alyse used this word, and she's like, yeah, this should be our first episode. And I'm like, what is positionality? It's fine. I may have a speech impediment. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, guys.
Yeah.
So anyways, I kindly looked up the word for you guys. I'm just kidding, myself. I just want to say that I like that she pushes me to new levels, so hopefully it's also pushing you. There's some areas that, I do a little pushing for Alyse, and then back,
Oh, what a lovely dance.
Thanks.
Shimmy, shimmy.
So definitely a day of learning. How about that?
And I had no idea. She just showed up with notes, okay?
Yeah, I'm legit.
And I was like...
Too legit to quit, okay?
Did you just look up the definition of positionality?
So, well, I'm not that dumb. I thought it was, like the position that you hold in life, which is, yes, that is a part of it, but it's not exactly what it actually is trying to mean. So... Is this a good definition? Because you said this is in response to researching.
Yeah, and that has to do with research. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's how I learned of the word positionality. As a researcher going into a space, doing research, you have to think about your positionality.
Yeah. So positionality refers to the stance or positioning of the researcher in relation to the social and political context of the study, which could be the community, the organization, or the participant group. The position adopted by a researcher affects every phase of the research process, from the way the question or the problem is initially constructed, designed, and conducted, to how others are invited to participate. So, it's kind of like how you view something is how it affects who you are and how you address other people. Right? Why are you smiling? What?
So here's an example.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Let's hear an example.
I like life by examples.
True that.
So let's say I'm doing a study on rural schools and how many students from rural schools go to four-year universities. But let's say I hold a bias and I think that people from rural areas aren't doing anything with their lives and they're just staying on the farm and they don't really want to do anything more than that. if I walk in with that feeling,
Right.
that's going to come across in
Right.
how I interact with those people, in that environment then.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, how has your own positionality changed or not over time, and why?
I think for me, the biggest thing is I really have learned, and I try to be quiet, to be quite frank. I know I'm really loud sometimes, but like in working with kids, for example,
Right.
I notice that a lot of times when we're in meetings or talking to them, there's just a lot of these voices
Right.
going at them. And so I try to actually be quiet and let them talk. And I just try to listen. Whereas, like, back in the day, I would have thought I just knew everything.
Right.
And I'd have been talking all over them, trying to tell them, no, you need to do this, 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 this. And so I think that's come with just life experience and really reflecting on how does it make me feel when I'm put in that position.
Definitely. And it kind of goes in connection with your perspective, like how you're viewing the situation. Personally, I think it's almost probably the same. I have, like I said in the first episode, I've been on like a professional, what? A personal development.
This girl ain't professional at all, okay?
Listen, I was up really, oh man, I couldn't sleep last night, and then my son woke up at 3 a.m. crying. The only way that he would stop crying is if we took a bath, and then it finally calmed him down, and I was legit falling asleep in the bath. I don't know if I told you that part.
No.
But I was like sitting there, like I put the water as low enough, and he was on top of my lap, so he was not even in the water. Don't think I'm over here gonna
drown your baby.
Yeah.
And it's moments like these that I love my dogs.
So, anyways, yeah, I don't think I told you that part, but yeah, I'm exhausted. I had 2 cups of coffee today, and it's 8:30. I'm ready to go to bed.
Oh my god, it's about my bedtime.
Anyways, yes.
Okay. Listening. I'm listening.
So, I feel like the way that my life has gone, I've had to grow through things that have allowed me to have an open mind going into situations, and not having that bias or assumption of how somebody's gonna be. It's very hard. Sometimes I do it. Like, I'm not perfect. Like, come on. But I think that it has grown, and it's like almost like a daily little tiny step, like a baby step, in the direction of kind of being more enlightened in life and
oh, Buddha over here.
it's fine. No, I'm just kidding. But just being able to, have conversations with people and not have assumptions or even it, what's the word, like when you're judging somebody.
Judgments?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So one thing that comes to mind when you talk about how your positionality has changed, how your view has changed, is a conversation that I had with my mom comes to mind. Mom, very wise.
It's a wise woman right there.
Mama P is the wise one. And I would say that she helped shape my world perspective quite a bit. There's a woman, and her baby's at home, and he's hungry, and this woman feels like there's nothing else that she can do but prostitute.
Sleep with a man for a little bit of money.
Sell her body.
Yeah.
To feed her child. And so my mom said, what do you think about this? I'm probably like 11, 12 years old. I don't know. Check when that the song came out, do the math, I was born in 88, I don't know. But I was like, absolutely
Thank you so much for
not.
being here with
I
us.
would
It was
never
a blast.
do that. And she said, really? Like, so you would rather let your kids starve than do this if that's the only way you knew how to feed your kid.
Right.
And it really made me think, like, no, if I had a kid, I would do anything to protect that kid. Now, unfortunately, her positionality was one
Right.
in such that she didn't realize that there were resources or
Right.
whatnot that could help her. But that really changed my view and made me like take a step back and think like, wow, like you can't just say never. You can't.
Right.
It brought my English lessons to a whole new level. Never say never. Don't say all, every.
Right.
All those superlatives. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Hopefully, I don't know either.
English teacher. My bad.
I don't think that's the right word.
Who knows? I bet your English teacher is gonna watch this though.
Oh boy, that's gonna be good.
So I agree with you. Her positionality was, this is what I view the world as. Corrupt, I can't get a job. Maybe I'm a single mom. This right here, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work for me, which is sad.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's the reality for
a lot of people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And so I feel like I didn't grow up in scenarios like that, but being exposed and having my mind have to think for itself and be like, well, how would I take that scenario and how would I, do it if that was me?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of those type of things in my life. I think one thing that really probably changed my positionality. I mean, I didn't have the best childhood. Probably not as bad as that kid. But I had to grow up really quick. And I had to learn that myself and my mind is, everything is up to me to grow, to discover, to learn new things, to develop. And so things happened. And then I realized, like, it's up to me. Like, and I have to make the decision. I can't control others or how others teach me. But that has probably, escalated. That's what really was like a turning point in my life where I was like, okay, there has to be something more. I have to be going towards something actually fulfilling, and there's something else. I know that there is, I just don't know what it is. So I just kept searching. One thing that I was doing research because, Alyse is in a doctoral program and homegirl over here didn't finish her AA, but it's fine. We're over here, all shapes of life, all walks of life.
Mm.
So it is impossible to reflect on perspective, the understanding of our mental states and others without considering our positionality. This guy, I don't know, helps us view the significance of positionality when he asks,
Yeah.
how does who you are shape what you think about the world? So I think it was a good question for me, for as well as you and Alyse, is if you don't really know who you are, if we're here having this conversation of who are you, hey girl, who are you, and you're not sure, just imagine now how you're viewing the world. Because you're unsure, so now the world's unsure, and you're kind of like, like a water and just being like, I'm just going to go this way, So I think having the understanding that there's maybe things out there that you don't know. And we're always growing. Obviously, we're not going to know everything that's ever to be out there. But I think it would be a step in the right direction. That's exactly where I went. So I wanted to ask you, since we are on the subject of who we are and how we view the world, what is 3 things, like quick things, that you would tell yourself, your younger self?
Oh my word. Don't take things so seriously. I have this poster that I put in my office, and I really wish I would have had this when I was younger. It's a circle that says things that you can control, and then basically outside of it, there's things that you can't control. And I feel like I wish I would have known that wasting my energy on all those things that I couldn't control was just consuming me and eating me up.
Waste your time.
And
3.
third thing, man, just like, I mean, I already said, like, don't take things so seriously, but just, like, enjoy life. Enjoy the ride. I feel like I'm always focused on, like, the future. I was just watching a video today, actually. It was like, we're always focused on the future.
Right.
And so, and we always say, like, well, when I get that promotion, or when
Right.
I retire, or when I, what about now? Why aren't we just enjoying the moment?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We spend so much time focused on the future that we're not in this
Right.
moment.
I mean, we can't even control the future.
Things I cannot change.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. One more question. Just thought of it.
Oh,
You're on
what?
the hot seat.
No, I've got one.
Oh, go ahead.
What are 3 things that you would?
That's such an original question.
Thank you. Just popped in my head.
So one, I would say, things don't last forever.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because when you're going through it, it feels like it's going to last forever. Yep. Exactly.
Like there's always going to be a brighter day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to be a time where you're going to look back and realize why you went through everything that you went through.
Mm-hmm.
2, I would say, is don't have expectations. Because expectations will, I feel like, distort your perspective. Because if you expect something from somebody and then they don't live up to your expectations, now your perspective of them.
What does that mean? You shouldn't have them at all?
Expectations? I don't think so.
I expect a lot. And if you can't live up to them,
peace out. I don't think so, though. I think I am more free now. Because I think I've had expectations of people and they can never meet it. And then I realize, oh yeah, because they're my expectations. They're not theirs.
Yeah.
But
then I just cut those people out.
Exactly. But that's where then you have to realize, maybe that could be my number 3, is that everybody is not supposed to be in your life.
Yeah.
If they're toxic for you, if they verbally abusive, emotionally, physically, everything, they don't have to be in your life. You get to choose who your people are. The people that are in your life, that surround you, you get to choose that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to just be like, oh, well, they've been my friend since kindergarten. Well, I'm sorry. If that person is not encouraging you and using kind words. Oh, I'm going to add a 4th one. You know what? Because it just popped into my head. Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm an overachiever, if y'all didn't know. Mm-hmm. I think if you don't have somebody who exposes you to things outside of your town, your school, your life, your house, or something like that. If you sometimes it's a parent, it's a mentor, it's a friend, something like that. If you don't have that, I would advise you to search for it. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I was so unaware of things, and it finally took about like 3 personal development programs, like seminars, and then I was like, holy crap, like I was meeting people like different walks of life, and it was just like I was just like, whoa, I've never experienced this before. And if I experienced it at a younger age and I was exposed to more things than, just going to school Monday through Friday, hanging out at home after school, like instead of watching TV, look up things that are trending on the internet to teach yourself what's going on in the world. I don't like to watch the news because it's very sad, so you don't have to do that.
Very negative. Yes. I don't watch it either.
But I think you should be looking for things that are going to renew your mind and transform your mind, because, our minds are the most powerful thing. So you said that you wanted to talk about
Positionality being fluid.
right,
And
being able to
changing
evolve and change.
Uh-huh. And so one thing that came to my mind was my experience moving here to Washington State. Well, we didn't mention that, but we're in Washington
Oh
State.
yeah, Washington.
Eastern Washington. What? So one of the things that I was thinking about when we talk about the fluidity of positionality and how your positionality changes was my transition from California to Washington. And in California, I grew up in Southern California, very city-like, lots of stuff to do, people everywhere. I went to school in Northern California in the Bay Area, again, city-like. We walked, we took public transportation. Then I moved back to Southern California, and I went to like a more rural area, and I only say that because it was rural to me. Desert. You really couldn't walk from place to place. It was more, you rode in your car, okay? and then I came up here to Washington, and I took my experience with me, and so I came up here, and I was like, I am going to revolutionize this school that I'm going to, because I work in college access, and my goal is to help kids see that they have opportunities available to them, and that they don't have to just be confined to what they know, that there are opportunities out there. And so that was like my big push. It's like I just wanted these kids to know how great my experience was going to a four-year university. And I oftentimes will share that with kids too, you know, when they're asking me like, well, what about community college? What's the difference between four-year and community college? And I always tell them I'm biased, because I know that's a bias that I carry with me. I went to a four-year university. I love that experience. That's the only experience that I know. And so I had to take a step back, though, because I realized that my experience is not everybody's experience.
Definitely.
And that we all take our own paths in life. And while I sit back and I watch kids make their decisions, and sometimes it pains me to do so because I'm like, no, please
don't do it.
And I see people with so much potential, and I'm fearful for them, and I'm fearful for their future and what might happen. But then I had to take a step back and just say, like, look, like, that's their life, and they need to take their, path, and I really had to check my bias and make sure that I wasn't just like projecting my own, ambitions onto these kids.
Definitely.
I still make it my mission to have those conversations and ask people why. Like, why are you making that decision? Not in a mean or a forceful way, but like you were saying earlier, to get them to think. And then to, because sometimes
they don't even know why they're making that decision.
Yeah. And so I still ask questions, and I still try to, make sure that they know what all of their options are. But in the end, I just want them to be successful, whatever that is for them.
Whatever that means for them, definitely.
Yeah.
I would have to say my experience is actually opposite, like legit. So like I was small town, like where we live in Washington State, it's like small, like, but I thought it was big. I thought it was huge. And then in 2014, I moved to Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. So it's huge, like super big. And I like remember getting there, and I'm like, dang. It was a huge jump because there was so many things that I was not aware of. In big cities, they move so much faster than small cities.
Oh, yeah.
So they're, a year ahead of what we are right now. So I'm jumping in a year ahead, and I'm like, feel like I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm drowning. Like, I think that is what changed my mind. Like, it was the complete opposite of your experience. Like, you were exposed to that, you were exposed to how I was raised, and then I was exposed to how you were. So mine was like complete opposite. That's pretty cool, actually.
And what do you prefer now?
That's a very good question. I think I miss the big city because of how fast paced it is and how ahead you are. Because I don't know why it's like that. I think it's more people, and then things are brought to bigger cities, and then it goes out. But
well, if there's more people, there's like greater exchange of ideas.
Right. I'm not sure. I can't answer that question.
There are parts of me that really wish that I lived in a city.
Right.
Just like I love being able to walk to my destinations, but that's also why I chose to live like in this neighborhood that I'm in, because I can walk.
Right. I'm not
but
a walker.
But I also really love having my space, and like I don't want to be right next door.
I think it's raining.
It definitely is raining. Eastern Washington doesn't rain here, but right now it does.
Is.
So.
I think I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because like in a big city, you almost feel like you're nobody. I felt like that when I got to a big city. I felt like I was like just another number.
I feel like part of that is like really freeing and liberating, because you know, growing up in Southern California, and even when I go back to visit, I'm very aware of like everybody feeling like they have to fit in,
right.
You know, and I look at people, like we went to an amusement park and I saw these two like 11-year-olds, and maybe this happens everywhere, I'm sure it does, but it, you know, both blonde hair, wearing the exact same outfit, and you know, it just kind of brought back those feelings of when I was younger, and like just trying to fit in and fit that image. And when I went to Northern California, it was like everybody was like, wear whatever the fuck you want.
And there it is. So we're going to end on that note. I like it.
Thanks. Yep.
Thank you so much for being here with us. It was a blast.